listening to Jai Long, and this is Make Your Break. Whether you're a big-hearted creative or an aspiring entrepreneur, let's take action on your dreams, reconnecting you with your why and giving you the how. I'm here to dish out actionable mindset tips and fun industry secrets to help you blow up your biz. From eye-opening reality checks to motivational gold, no two episodes are ever the same. So tune in weekly, skip the FOMO, and let's dive into the deep together. Hey, today, I want to talk to someone that's just going through the process that's about to quit their full-time job. Now, I know there's so many different listeners that listen to this, and some of you guys are already, way past that and you're making millions of dollars, and others, maybe you've got a six-figure business and you're going all right and you want to optimize and you want to improve the things that you're doing. And I know some of you are full-time in work and one day you want to quit your job. And I do work with a lot of everybody across the spectrum. Now, today I'm going to speak with Aly. Aly is an amazing photographer. She's based in Melbourne and she's inside the six-figure business map. And she wrote me a message not too long ago. And she said she's getting ready to quit her 9 to 5. And she was telling me about the whole process and everything. And I thought, you know what? I should get her on the podcast and see how she feels, see what the steps are, and see what, I guess, strategies, inspiration, and motivation she can share with anybody else that's in her exact phase of life and business, which I think is really cool. So she has been in the business map for quite a while now. And I love seeing her work. I love seeing her show up. And, sometimes you just get people that you can't not take notice of because they're passionate and they're making something for themselves. And she has an amazing mindset and everything else, which you're going to find out really soon. Now, before we get into today's podcast episode, I've actually got something really special for you. I am running a marketing accelerator workshop and it's completely free. It's going to be completely fun. And all you have to do is head over to jailong.co, and at the very top of my website, you're going to see where you can register for that workshop. Now, that workshop's going to come up in a couple of weeks, and it's going to be when we kick off and open the six-figure business map for the next enrollment as well. So I know I've got thousands of people on the wait list for that, and just to let you know, we only enroll in 100 people, so we do limit it. But I can't wait to work with a whole bunch of new people just like Aly, going out there, making your break, making things happen. No matter where you are on the journey, there's always things to learn. There's always things to do. And also no matter what niche you're in as well, which is really cool. So if you do want to get a ticket and you want to learn how to get more leads, how to better market your brands so you can put your best foot forward, so you can make a bigger impact with what you're doing without making it all hard and sleazy and everything else, then head over to jailong.co, register as fast as you can, and I can't wait to spend a few hours with you overhauling your marketing strategy. So let's get into today's episode. Hey, welcome back. I have Aly with us today. She's a sailor from the Six-Figure Business Map. She slid into my DMs a little while ago and told me that she was planning on quitting her full-time 9 to 5 job and how excited she was about it and everything. And I wanted to get her on the podcast while she's fresh on there. So one thing has changed since you sent me that original DM. Actually, since then, you've actually decided to do it. Is that right?
Yes, I've actually quit my 9 to 5. My last day was last Thursday, so it's still very fresh. And today, this Tuesday, is actually the first work day where I'm not at my 9 to 5, because I've always had Mondays and Fridays off. So today is the first day where it's like really sinking in that I don't have to be there anymore. I don't have to show up to my 9 to 5 anymore. And I've gone all in on my business.
How does it feel?
It feels really good. I'm very stoked to finally be at this place, very grateful to be able to make a decision like this. But at the same time, there's always those fears that crowd around my head. But I just have to make a conscious effort every day to push those away and to just push forward and, make better opportunities for myself.
What fears did you have on quitting your job and being where you are right now?
Yeah, so I've told you about these in that DM that I sent you, but just, I guess, common fears around finances, like Do I need to build up an emergency fund or a rainy day fund before quitting my job? Can I do this? Like, am I going to be able to pull all my, my shit together to be able to pull off something like this? Like, do I really have what it takes, basically?
Wow. Tell me what, like, so you wrote me that DM and then I think maybe a week later, you're like, you know what? I've decided I'm actually going to quit my job. So the first one was, I'm thinking about quitting my 9 to 5 and taking the leap. Then the second one was, actually, I've already done it. I put in my resignation. So tell me, in that short span, how did you overcome those fears?
Well, because I've been thinking about it in my head for so long, and I've been telling my coworkers about it. I've been talking about, leaving my job for such a long time now. So it's not something that I just decided overnight. I think over time led up to that big decision. But I guess I've always known in my head that if I put in the time, if I put in the effort, like there's no doubt in my head that I know I can make it. I know I can do it. I can achieve whatever goal I have. I guess it was just a matter of finally conquering that imposter syndrome and finally, standing up for myself and making the decision to back myself up and do this thing. It took a lot of encouragement from my husband as well. In the weeks leading up to that decision of me leaving my job, he sent me this quote from Tim Ferriss from his book, The 4-Hour Workweek. And it says something like, the universe's timing will never align for you. It said something like, if you want to quit your job, like basically just do it and correct course later on. And so that really has stuck with me ever since. And I think that was the day that I actually decided that I am ready for it, even though I'm never going to be fully ready. So I'm just going to have to do it. Yeah.
You know, it's interesting when people hear quotes like that, there's so many quotes all the time, all over the place by so many different people, and you see them and you read them. And sometimes it's like, yeah, great. That's inspirational, whatever. But sometimes the stars align when that quote hits you exactly when you need it. And if you read that 3 months ago, you would have not cared or wouldn't have landed on you. Maybe if you read it in 3 months' time, same thing. But the exact moment came around where you're like, that is speaking to me right now and I need to take action. Isn't that incredible?
Yeah, definitely. I think that's exactly what happened for me. He sent that quote to me when I was at work, when I was on my break, I think. And because sometimes he drops me off at work, and every time I leave him in the car, I'm like, oh, I don't want to be here. I don't want to do this. And so he sent that quote to me on that day. And then during my break, I saw it. And then, yeah, I just made the decision right then to do that.
It's so good that you got a supportive partner that actually gets you and helps you do what you want to do. You know, a lot of people are not that fortunate.
Yeah, it's definitely a big part into me making this decision. Like you said, I never would have been able to do it if I didn't have a partner that supported my goals. I'm very lucky because he's also in the creative field. He's a musician, so he understands a lot of what I'm going through. And he's also actually in the same boat. So we're able to support each other and help each other out in that regard. And yeah, he's been amazing.
Wow. So tell me, like going to work, did it just feel like a big weight on your shoulders? Were you stressed? Did you get anxiety? Was there any other factors? Like, I know for myself, when I quit my electrical job, it was just after I literally had like an anxiety attack. And I realized at that moment that I was like, I'm not in the right place. And I'm not doing the right thing. So regardless of the backup plans or the finances or the registration of my car and all those things, like I just have to change. And, you know, there was a quote that I heard the other day from a mentor of mine, and he was on the podcast, and he said, it's hard to change and it's hard to pivot, you know, so change jobs or change careers. It's even harder to stay the same. And for me, that like landed for me at the exact right time, just like what you had before. And I'm like, oh my God, that is the permission that I need so I can move forward with a new idea and change things and everything else.
Yeah, 100%. It's like what they say, choose your hard. Do you want to stay in a job that you don't love? That's hard. Or do you want to, make opportunities for yourself? That's also hard. Choose your heart. And I chose the business hard. For me, I didn't get anxiety attacks or anything like that. Like I enjoyed working with the people in that 9 to 5 job. it's more that I've just grown out of it. Like I'm past that phase in my life where
Totally.
I want to work in a field like that. I used to be passionate about it. So I was an early childhood educator. I used to be really passionate about it. And up until now, I love kids. I would like to have kids of my own someday. I love, playing with the kids and educating them and stuff. But I'm just past that point in my life where that's what I want to do every day. It just
Yeah, it's
came
no longer bringing you that same fulfillment that you had when you first started.
100%. Yeah. I just came to a
Mm.
point where every day I'm like, oh, I have to spend 8 hours in there. And yeah, it was about time that I pulled the trigger and just did something that I'm fully into. Yeah.
Okay, so I want to rewind just a little bit because you've actually been working with me inside the Six Figure Business Map since 2021. So way back then, I know you just said like it took a long time to make this big decision. So obviously you had your cogs turning back then when you were signing up to something like a business course. Because I mean, a business course is more than just a hobby. It means like it's no longer just a photography hobby for you. It's something that you're like, oh, I could generate income from this. Maybe one day I could go full time. So back then, when you did sign up to the course, did you have a bit of an idea that this is where you wanted to be?
Yeah, I think I've always known. I've always known that I wanted to do this full time. I've known when I made that investment that, like, this is it. This is serious. I've really got to take this seriously. So I've always known that I was going to do it. It was just a matter of when.
Yeah. And so for joining the course and things like that, was that really for you to sort of like plan things out, map things out? Because I know you said some things was like, should I say some more? Should my finances be good? My imposter syndrome. But really, you've been working on all that stuff for a long time now.
Yeah. Yeah. So like I said earlier, like this wasn't an overnight decision. It's taken me years to get to this point. Ever since I picked up a camera, I think that was, the start of it all. And it all built up to that final decision. And
Mm,
business map and all the things that I've learned from there, from the community, all the inspiration I've gotten from other people who have done the same thing. They were all a very huge factor into making that decision.
it's all invaluable, isn't it? When you see
Yeah.
everybody else like hitting big wins and quitting their job and making big numbers and things like that, it's like, man, I'm excited about this. I want this for myself.
Yeah, it lets you know what's possible. In a way, it kind of expands your universe and your reality.
Mm,
Because before joining the business map, before being surrounded by people who think the same way, I was very limited in my own thinking. I didn't know what I was capable of, but
totally.
by people like that, it definitely expands, like I said, your reality and just pushes you to do things that you thought you weren't capable of doing in the first place.
Yeah, the first time that ever happened for me was literally I was second shooting for a really well-known photographer in New York City, and at the time I was making like I don't know 50,000 to maybe just cracking 100,000 per year. And this photographer, we're in the back of the taxi back then, and we were both pretty drunk after a wedding. We had a few drinks at the bar, it was an open bar and everything. And as we were going home, I was saying like, yeah, it's really hard as a photographer to like make a proper income. And she's like, no, it's not. And then she's like, have a look at this. And she showed me her, at the time, her CRM was Shoot Q, and that's what I used to use as well. And she had for the next year booked in, I think it was maybe like $250,000 worth of work. And I was looking at it and I seen that number. And for me, it was this weird switch in my head of like, oh my God, it's possible. And I didn't know until I could see, until someone told me. And so for like, even in the business map and stuff, it's just like one of the most important things. And that's why I tell everyone got to share stuff. It's like, there's someone there that's gone, oh my God, it's possible. It can happen for me. And that person is just like me. That person lives in the country. That person's on the coast. That person is in England. That person, so you start seeing like all these threads and you're able to like combine them to your own journey. And I think that's really powerful.
Super powerful. It lets you dream. It almost gives you permission to dream big. If you didn't used to do that for yourself. And it's just so empowering. The community that you've built, it lifts people up. I myself, I haven't been posting much in the community, but just seeing the daily posts about everybody's wins, it makes me think if you can do it. And you so can, like, nothing is like inherently special about someone. It's just that they made the
Totally.
decision to do it, that they did it, and they believed in themselves, and that was it. And
Mm.
yeah, that's what I have learned from the business map.
That's amazing. And it takes like, so I always talk about mindset and as you're growing through things and like, so one, like a mindset that hasn't been worked on yet is like you could join something like this and you get envious and you get jealous and then you think people are more talented than you, they're more special than you, they've got, whatever it is. But as you like grow your mindset and you start looking around, then you start seeing things so differently, don't you? Just like you're saying, you like start seeing like, well, there's nothing actually special about them because they're out there, they're going through the same fears, they have the same limiting beliefs, they got the same self-doubt, they have anxiety, they have this, they have that, they don't have their shit sorted, but they did it. And so you have to have admiration for those people because you know how hard it is.
Yeah, absolutely. I have so much respect for everyone in the business map, every entrepreneur. So much respect for them.
Exactly.
It's not easy. As you always say, it's simple, but it's not. It's definitely not
It's
easy.
not easy.
Or
It
at
is
least,
simple. It definitely is not easy.
and you end up making it way too hard in your head than it actually is.
It's so amazing. So for you, what's the next step? So you've just quit your job. Do you have any work booked in? Have you got like a bit of a buffer there? Are you excited to spend more time on your business now, working in or on your business opposed to in your business?
Absolutely, yeah. I think a big factor as well that led me to making that decision is that I guess, built up some sort of a financial buffer in my business account. Like just over the past few months, I've made quite a few bookings, weddings, a couple
Awesome.
shoots. I also work for other people, so that's helped a lot as well. So I've built up quite a buffer in my business fund, which has given me more confidence to make that decision. I also have work booked throughout the year. I'm nowhere near where I want to be, but that's where, this quitting my job comes into play now. Like I can now use that time that I used to dedicate to working at my 9 to 5 to create more opportunities for myself and fill in my calendar and, just shoot heaps, shoot for my friends, shoot with other vendors, work on the back end of my business, work on social media, my website, my marketing, and all that. And hopefully reach
Does
my.
all this stuff get you really excited? Because there's so much work obviously going ahead, but like it's kind of like when you first started your 9 to 5, there was so many things you didn't know. And then there's so many goals and milestones and fun things that you want to learn. And it's like as if you're starting all over again. It's like the fun stage of the curiosity and everything else. Is that how it feels for you?
Yeah, it's really exciting. Like, there's so many things I want to do, and I'm not going to fool myself and think that I'm going to be able to achieve everything overnight. But I just know that I need to put one foot in front of the other every day, do it little by little every day, tick my goals one step at a time, and learn along the way. One very inspiring, or I guess good quote I've heard from this podcast, The Mindset Mentor, hosted by Rob Dial. He always says to ready, fire, and then aim instead of ready, aim, and fire.
I
Every
love
day,
that.
I just need
That's
to take.
genius.
Yeah. And then if I fuck it up, that's fine. Uh, Fuck it up and figure it out later on, basically.
It's so important. And like I talk about on my podcast, like so many mistakes that I've made. And I talk about it with my wife all the time. I talk about it with my friends, like all the mistakes. And what I'm really proud of myself really is the fact that I've allowed myself to be in a space to make the mistakes and make them as fast as possible. And I always say, it's like, you got to make the mistakes as fast as possible because you're going to make them. But the quicker that you do it, the quicker they get out of the way and you can get on to bigger things.
Exactly. You just by listening to the content you put out, I've learned not to be afraid of making mistakes because then that's how you know what not to do in the future. And also, again, bringing it back to my partner, he's given me a very safe space to be able to do things without the pressure of achieving perfection the first time around. And that's been
Mm.
helpful and valuable for me to have that space to learn and grow at the same time without the pressure of being held to perfection every time.
I think that's literally talking about this yesterday, actually, with one of my staff members. One of the things that holds back entrepreneurs the most is they're striving for perfection, which is very different. What I talk about is like strive for excellence, because that's really important. Like you need to be excellent in like your craft and the things that you do and how you serve your clients. And, I think it's very important to strive for excellence and never stop that. But then striving for perfection is a completely different game because nothing's ever perfect. And so we mask ourselves and our insecurities by saying we're waiting for it to be perfect, but we never put anything out there and we never release anything. We never create anything. We never get the feedback that we need and we never actually move forward. And so it's so important that we release the guilt of perfection and just get out there and start creating.
Yeah, 100%. And I myself am like very guilty of that. Like I haven't been the best at like posting my work on social media. I can't really pinpoint the exact reason, but I know that it has something to do with the fact that what if it's not good enough for other people to see? What if it's not interesting enough for other people to see? And every now and again, whenever I catch myself doing that, I just bring myself back and I just think to myself, whatever, I don't care. I just need to put this out, resonate with the right people. And that's the most important thing, is to just share your work and it will resonate with the right people.
Yeah, absolutely. So for your next step now, like how ambitious are you to hit your big milestones and goals? Like, are you going to get uncomfortable and get out there and like you were saying before, I heard you saying like, you just want to shoot for friends, you want to build your portfolio, you just want to get out and about and start creating whatever you can create. So do you feel like you are ready to sort of put to the side like any kind of fear of like working for free or anything else, and you're just ready to basically dominate your career?
Yeah, absolutely. Super ready. I mean, this podcast in itself is like something that's put me in an uncomfortable spot, but I love doing things that make me uncomfortable, because that's.
Are you uncomfortable right now?
I'm quite not
You're
anymore.
Getting comfortable.
Before it all started, I was like, I was getting all in my head, psyching myself out. But once it actually starts, like all of that disappears.
It's awesome.
It's basically the before it all happens, that's where you psych yourself out. But when you actually jump in and do it, there's actually no fear. And I guess, it's the same for doing big things for my business. You just need to do it. And once you actually make the decision to do it, once you take that first step, then that fear disappears. That's what I've noticed anyway. But yeah, I'm super ready to hit big goals. I've been reaching out to past couples of mine and also friends of mine who are couples to just do styled shoots. And, over the multiple weddings that I've done over the past year, I've met a lot of wonderful vendors and suppliers. So I'm going to be reaching out to those people as well, set up some styled shoots over the slow season and create the content that I want that would attract my ideal clients.
That's epic. I mean, I know that you know this and you're in the business map and everything, but it's good to just sort of share it with the audience. But like one of the most important things for you to do in this stage is, well, one, make all the mistakes, but two, get anyone and everyone to know you. Like it's one of the most important things. And I think so many people forget this. They think that they're going to create work that's good enough, that's going to bring people in. But so often it just doesn't. And we got to, have things in our control, which is like making our own break. So it's like forcing yourself in the market by getting people to know who you are. And ways that we can do that is literally like reaching out to them on DM, like you just did for me, going out to venues, talking to people, creating work for people, sharing your work with people, whatever it is, however it is, whoever it is. Like you need people to know you and your brand and your message and what you do and what you stand for, because from there you've got a big springboard to bounce for all the next goals that you got.
100%. Yeah, I super agree. A lot of the, I guess, work or weddings that I've gotten over the past year came about from me either introducing myself to someone in person or simply reaching out via DMs. Like I've gotten to work with and for a lot of amazing established photographers here in Melbourne simply by sending them a DM, which isn't really as scary as you would make it in your mind to be. Just send someone a DM. Like the worst that could happen anyway is you get a no, and then just keep trying, move on to the next person and try your
At least if you get a no, they know who you are.
Exactly. They're not.
You've actually mission complete. you know,
Yeah.
and then you can reach back to them in a year's time. I do this when people say, no, Joe, all good. Year's time, I'm like, hey, remember when I was in your DMs a year ago? Like, I just want to circle back, see if you want to do it again. And then they're always like, oh, you're relentless. Okay, well, and then they might say no again. Then I come back again. And so just the fact, like, we always got to know that people are always going to say no to us because they don't know who we are. And that's just how it works. So keep showing up. And literally, that's how people are going to know who you are. So it's like, who's
Yeah.
Aly? She keeps showing up in my DMs. I can't notice you now.
Yeah. And also I've noticed that people actually say yes more than you would expect them to.
Oh,
Um,
definitely.
yeah. So like really just give it a try. That's what I've done that so much, especially when I was first starting out. And yeah, I was able to shoot so many cool things, so many cool weddings simply by reaching out to other people.
Mm. Moving forward, have you got any cool marketing strategies that you're going to be implementing straight away? Or is there anything in your business right now that you're like really excited to sort of spend more time on?
Well, that's what I'm going to be like brainstorming about now that I have all this time. But I guess I've always wanted to do some sort of a giveaway. I've recently just reached over 1,000 followers. So maybe when I reach the maybe 1.5 or 2,000 followers, I can do some sort of giveaway. Also, I haven't properly done like a social media launch of my website yet. So that's a huge
Oh, that
opportunity.
would be really good. You know, well, even just going full time, like you should launch your website and the fact that you're gone full time. I feel like that's such an awesome way to tell everybody and just have like a bit of a launch party, even if it's just online or if it's an Instagram live or whatever it is. But I feel like involving everybody is such a good way to start off with the bang.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll use this week to plan out something like that. And yeah, it's just a really cool way, I think, to share with everybody where I'm now at, to share this new journey with everyone, and
Mm.
hopefully make some cool things happen in the process.
Yeah, bringing everyone on the journey, especially like you never know who's going to book you, especially when you first go full time. And I remember when I went full time, like I was an electrician. And so I had a lot of tradie friends. And literally over the next 12 months to 18 months, like a lot of them reached out and they're like, hey, my son's getting married. My daughter's getting married. I'm getting married. So when I was a wedding photographer, I got so much work just because I shared with everybody what my hopes and dreams were and what I was going to do and where I was going to travel and, you know, all that kind of stuff. So it's so important.
That's awesome. Yeah, it comes back around to what you said earlier, of just letting people know who you are and what you do. And you never know who's going to reach out to you and who your next client is going to be. So, yeah, just showing up, so important.
Cool. And so your next steps really are just like planning phase, sort of. Are you actually going to map out the whole year for yourself and like all the different, you know, stages of the year where there's like, could be like Father's Day, Mother's Day, Black Friday, coming up to Christmas. There's so many different things that you could be doing, like promotions around those times or like a giveaway at a certain time or, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, all those big calendar dates. As you teach about in the business map, it's important to do like 90-day to plan out your next 90
90-day
days.
blocks. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, 90-day blocks. So that's what I'm going to do next. And yeah, gradually map out all my goals for the rest of the year.
I love that so much. You know, so many people never map out anything. And I know that you are a planner because you joined the business map a long time ago and now you've just quit your job. So one of the most important things is, and no one sees this, and it's something that you said a few times, is like one step after the other step after the other step. And then after a while, you get so much momentum and you get so far. And planning is one of the most important things that many entrepreneurs don't do. But the more that you plan, the more that you build your portfolio, the more that you work in this phase right now, it's like building the foundations of something that's going to be so successful for you. So it's like the success is coming. You don't have to worry about that at all. It's like, enjoy this process right now. Enjoy literally your first week working full time because these are some of the funnest times in business. Like, trust me, it's fucking amazing being in the position where you are right now, building something and making something for yourself. You know, there's nothing better.
Yeah, I'm so excited, for all the opportunities that's about to come and just all the time that I have back in my hands, like having time and location freedom to be able to do what I want with who I want, where I want. It's amazing.
Amazing. So just to sort of finish off, I would love for you to talk to you maybe in 2021 when you first joined the business map, and then you're thinking, I'm going to go full time one day. So was there any regrets? Was there anything that you would tell yourself that you could do differently? Was there any extra goals you would have done? Was there any goals that you would have created bigger, or any wisdom you want to share?
I guess I would tell myself to just stop doubting myself, because there was a lot of that in my head, to just trust in the process and just believe that it's going to happen. Because I kept on, for a very long time, I kept on talking myself out of doing something like this, out of fear, out of out of scarcity. So I think I would really just tell myself to stop putting all these things in your head, stop doubting yourself, and start backing yourself up, and know that you can achieve whatever you put your mind to.
It's so easy to just say that to yourself, and then, like, of course, yourself's not going to take it seriously because they're like, well, that's all good for you to say. You're a future me. I've got a lot of struggles to go through, sort of thing. But it's refreshing to hear that that's what the advice would be, because it's the exact same advice I'd give myself. Like, I wouldn't tell myself, if I went back 5 years ago, 10 years ago, I wouldn't tell myself any shortcuts or how to get there faster, or I wouldn't, all the mistakes to avoid. I'd literally say to myself, like, dude, just keep going. Like, that's all you need to do. Keep trusting yourself. Keep making those mistakes and keep getting back up. Trust me, it's worth it. And I think that's just such a powerful thing.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Cool, Aly. Well, I'm really excited, and I know my listeners are going to be over the moon hearing you. Can they reach out to you on Instagram? Can we say hello?
Absolutely. Yeah. My Instagram is Aly Marie Photo. I love connecting with new people. Reach out if you're like in the same boat and you just want to chat about that. I'm super happy to talk to you about it and give some tips or advice if you need that. Because I know how it feels like to be in that position. It's a very fresh thing for me. It's something that I've thought about a lot.
Very fresh.
Yeah, very. Yes, if you're in that position, or even if you're not, like, I'd love to say hi and chat and connect.
Well, thank you so much. I'm not going to take up too much of your time. You've got a full day today working for yourself, by yourself. So I'm excited to see all the things that you do in your next chapter. And thank you for allowing me to be on the journey with you as well. It's such a privilege.
Thank you so much, Jai. This has been such a pleasure.
Hey, Make Your Breakers. Want to streamline your audible dose of inspiration, motivation, and creative biz insights with a custom playlist made just for you? Was that a yes, please? Kicking our arses into gear, sifting through all of Make Your Breaks episodes to date. Yep, we're talking all 200 plus episodes. We've meticulously curated some banging playlists just for you. We want to help you to make that break ASAP. So whether you're a newbie or have listened to every episode a million times, jump into the show notes and check out the little something we whipped up to generate your very own custom playlist.